Hi, thanks for joining me today on Susan's Cozy Kitchen. This morning I am making a French toast breakfast casserole. Okay, first things first, I have the oven preheated to 425 degrees and I have buttered an 8x8 casserole dish, butter on bottom and sides so that hopefully this doesn't stick. Now I have a loaf of French bread that is probably about 2 to 3 days old. I bought it intending to make some cheese bread over the weekend and didn't. Plans changed and I ended up making other things. Now I have this nice crusty French bread, so I'm going to cut this into cubes and into the casserole dish they're going to go. So let's get busy with that and then I'll be right back. Okay, the bread's cut, it's in here, and I did pile it up to the top of the dish because when I add the milk and egg mixture to it, it is going to soak it up, it's going to drop some. So I wanted to make sure that there's enough in here to actually serve at least 4 servings. The next thing I'm going to do is just to sprinkle some cinnamon over the top of that, and then back in with clean hands. I'm going to toss that around so that that distributes the cinnamon in there, because I'm not going to add cinnamon to the egg and milk. So that way there's a little bit of cinnamon all the way through. There's that ready and waiting. Now, here's my bowl and let's start with the eggs. That's quite a bit of bread, so I'm going to break 6 eggs. Alright, now I'm just going to do a sprinkle of salt in here, and I'm going to pour in maybe 1/4 cup of milk, and I'm just going to beat this together. To my egg and milk, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now mix that in. That will give it a wonderful vanilla flavor. And just simply pour it over the whole thing. And then mix it in. Make sure all of your bread gets into the egg mixture, because you don't want any dry bread. You want it all mixed together, and I'm just gonna have to go in with my hands, because sometimes hands are the best tools. Okay, let's flip that around a little bit more. Get everything that was on top down on the bottom so that those can soak into the egg mixture. Alright, next, I'm trying to make my French toast casserole similar to how I make my French toast. When I make French toast, I will beat up an egg or 2 plus a tablespoon or 2 of milk per slice of bread. And I always cook it in melted butter. So instead of cooking it in melted butter, I'm just going to drizzle some melted butter over the top of the casserole and let the butter soak into the bread cubes along with the milk and eggs. Okay, while that's soaking in, I'm going to clean up a little bit. Time to make the topping. This is going to be, all right, here is a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, and to that To that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then I'm going to mix that together. I like to mix it with a fork just so that I can easily break up any little pieces of brown sugar. Alright, so now I'm going to sprinkle this over the top as evenly as I can, because I want this to soak down into it, form a little bit of a topping. So that's in the oven. I'll check it in 20 minutes and I'll let you know how things are going. And now we wait. It's on the last minute before the timer goes off, so I'll be checking it in just a bit to see if it's done. We'll find out if 20 minutes is in the Goldilocks zone or if we need to go a little bit longer. And there's the beep. Okay, there it is. I used my Pampered Chef cake tester and poked through there in several different places. It came out clean in every spot. It looks like everything is absorbed and that everything has cooked into the bread. So I'm going to just let this sit here for about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, and cool a little bit, because right now it's just too hot to even attempt doing anything with it. If you're making this for breakfast, now would be the time to finish making the bacon, the eggs, chopping up some fruit to go with it. So I'm going to just let it sit and cool a bit, and then we will slice into it and try it. Okay, time to find out if this is good. This is a casserole I've wanted to make for a long time, and I never did find one that I really liked the looks of, because they all said you had to let it sit overnight, and then all the reviews that I read always said that they were soggy on the bottom, and it never sounded appetizing. So I've always been afraid of making one, and I decided to just sort of come up with one on my own that I could make and not have to let it sit overnight, and that would still be good. Alright, it looks delicious. Look at that. You can see the individual pieces of bread in there, but you can see the egginess. You see a little bit of the cinnamon throughout it. Now I will say, I don't know if I let it cook a little bit too long, or if I needed to add something else into the topping. The topping is a little bit hard and definitely very crunchy. That could be fixed with a little bit of syrup, or maybe even just letting a little bit of powdered sugar go over the top of it. So I'm going to top mine with just a little bit of powdered sugar. I think that's the way I'm going to eat mine, but you could definitely warm up some real maple syrup and drizzle over it like you would if you were eating French toast, and that would be absolutely fantastic. Okay, so time to give it a taste test. Well, I like it. It's soft inside. It definitely is eggy, but it's not too eggy. But it's got that wonderful consistency that you get when you have that perfect French toast. That's in here. The topping, for me, gives it that syrupy flavor without having to add syrup. So to me, this is perfect with just that little sprinkle of powdered sugar. It's fantastic. I am ready to grab a cup of coffee and some bacon and have breakfast. As always, the full recipe is in the description box below. Links to my social media are also in there. Please be sure and join me on Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to connect with you in both of those places also. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure and give it a big thumbs up. If you've not already, please do subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you find out every time I upload a new video to YouTube. Thanks for watching. God bless.